to Sequel Podcast.
Special edition.
Regular edition.
Right.
I'm Matt Bonta.
And I'm Cory Easley.
What's going on, Cory?
You know.
It's been a little while.
It has been a while. It's been
a while.
Been a while.
Since I saw you.
It has been that while. So, it's been like a month now.
It has been.
At least.
Well, I mean, we can verify.
It's been a solid month, if nothing else.
Well, we can't quite verify without doing a little bit more homework.
We don't have to dig that hard.
No, we don't have to dig that hard.
But it's been about a month.
It's been about a month. Been trying to get you over. What happened last week?
Last week you canceled on me.
Did I?
Yeah. Which is a rare occurrence, everyone should know.
Oh, I know why.
If anybody bails, it's usually me. But Matt had vaginosis.
No, me and Luis went out. I think we went to play. What did we do? We went to the store. We went to Best Buy. And then we went and I got the beers.
Mm-hmm.
And then we went and we ate sushi. And it was Hell Week last week at work. And I was just like, I didn't even get home until like 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
And you were talking about like starting at 7 o'clock, and I was just like, I'm dead. And I don't feel like it.
It's fair enough. I saw Luis, I think. No, I didn't.
You might have.
I
He
saw
sees a lot of people.
I saw Alex.
Did you?
Or Ali, Alejandro, whatever we want to call him. Your other Mexican from work.
Well, Ali is different from Alex.
I saw one of those two guys. They look the same to me.
All Mexicans look alike to you, yeah? And we're drinking beer. We're drinking
Dragons and Yum Yums.
And you know what? It's surprisingly better than I thought it was going to taste.
Yeah, it's not freaky. It's kind of a...
It doesn't say it on here. Right here. Pale ale brewed with dragon fruit and yum berry, passion fruit, pear, and black carrot juices.
Interesting.
So it's got like 50 different things in here, and I'm like, oh my god, is that going to be the worst thing ever?
Ass. No, it's actually pretty good. It's got mellow taste, little bitter aftertaste, I think.
It's got a little something
but
aftertaste.
But not real sweet.
No.
Like I expected.
Yes, like a sweet beer, like I can understand like a Mike's.
Right. Or
I've
had like some blueberry mixes and some different stuff.
Right.
It's like a fruity beer, and some of it just goes way too far. Like some of it's way too, I don't know.
We've done the blueberry on here before.
We did, and it was awful sweet. It was like syrupy almost.
6.5. This one's 6.5.
But it's tasty for a pale, you know.
Like I don't know the difference between anything. I know like a stout is a darker beer.
Yeah, stouts are usually darker, and they have IPAs are super hoppy. Like like it's like you're eating a juniper bush when you drink IPAs.
And then
not my favorite.
Right.
Like, I really
you don't like to chew your beer.
I don't do IPAs. I'll do a red, which is like
red's dark too, right?
Yeah, it's a different direction of beer. I don't know. I'll do reds, which is hoppier than I normally like, and then pretty much anything that's stout is good to go.
Guinness.
Yeah, Guinness.
Guinness is perfect.
Bass.
Stella is perfect.
Well, Stella's
perfect. It's a
beer,
regular beer, right? It's on the other end. But like
it's a blonde or whatever you want to call it.
A dark beer, Guinness is perfect.
Absolutely, it's like a sandwich though. The other one I like is...
Oh no, what did they say? If you pour Guinness into a glass and you put a straw in there, it stands straight up?
It does. Because the head is so stout on it that it doesn't move.
That's funny.
Yeah.
So we got a little house cleaning to do, Cory.
We do. We've got announcements.
Some important announcements.
Indeed. Announcements I'm excited for.
Excited?
Like, there's not very many things...
That excite you?
That excite me the way this does.
You know, you've lost a job since we've talked on here.
I did.
I have yet to hear about this situation.
We'll have to do the story offline.
Oh, really? Okay. All right.
It's a little we'll sketch,
cut that.
But
anyway,
I did leave my previous employer, and I was, I would say slightly unemployed, but I was all the way unemployed for a period of about a month. And I just recently started a new job.
Alright, but before all that,
Yeah.
let's talk about the movie stuff.
Yeah.
Some important movie stuff is going on.
Big doings. Huge.
Finally taking steps towards something. So, I talked a little bit about it with Dakota last week, or the week before, or whatever it was.
Week before last.
We discussed it briefly. So Godsalt is in a film festival. I got an email saying Godsalt is in a film festival. You're in Godsalt.
I am.
And he did the effects for
Very
Godsalt.
briefly, however.
And as a kind of like, okay, we got into this one. There's like a parent fest. Or it might even be the same fest.
Like related, though.
It's
Sure.
if not the same one, it's definitely related. I was like, okay, well, I'll go ahead and submit Street Toughs because this is like the only person who's ever gotten back to me about accepting a movie.
Right.
And so I submitted Street Toughs, and Street Toughs got accepted. The guy called me, and he was like, what he say? He didn't say anything like super good, but he didn't say anything super bad either. He was just like, we'll show your movie. Like, I liked it. I thought it was funny.
Some of it's funny.
But I don't think there's an audience for your movie. But he said he's going to show it. So.
I don't know what that means.
Well, like, a funny thing is like when Kevin Smith made Clerks, he was told the same thing.
Right.
But of course, they showed that at Sundance. We're not going to Sundance.
Yeah, well, you can't have everything.
And he had like a guy to talk for him. This is just the guy that runs the festival. I don't think he knew that I was also the guy that did Godsalt. Because when I called him, because he called me and left a message, I called him back after work. And, I was like, oh, yeah, hey, this is Matt Bonta. He's like, oh, hey, what's up? Or, like, what can I do for you? I was like, oh, it's Street Toughs is my. He's like, oh, yeah, Street Toughs, right. And then he told me all that, like, we'll show it and everything else, so. But he didn't mention anything about, like, Godsalt, because obviously Mathew Bonta also did Godsalt, and he is the guy that wrote the email to me.
Right, so he obviously picked two of your films. I think that's big.
Right. And they're both, like, the email I got for Godsalt, so you asked me where the festival is.
Yeah, the one where there's going to be a showing.
So the thing is, I submitted Godsalt because I was like, I'm always going to Vegas. It's an easy trip. So I just found, like, what is going to be a Vegas film festival. And I just picked the one and just submitted Godsalt just for the fuck of it. And I guess it's Hollywood Dreams Independent Film Festival. And that's who I got the email back from for that one. Now, Hollywood Dreams is a sister of, a parent of, it's
a relation to,
if not the same, Action on Film Festival.
Okay.
So, that guy said...
Which I think I've heard of.
If you have, I mean...
I think it's passed through my ears anyway. Doesn't mean I know anything about it.
So that's what Godsalt was submitted to. And through the email and kind of clicking around, I went to Action on Film and submitted to that. So going to the website, Hollywood Dreams is August 16th to the 26th in Las Vegas. Now looking at the Action on Films Festival, it is August 16th through August 26th in Vegas. So either it's the same festival, or this guy has two separate festivals going on at the same time. So, both movies are going to show in Vegas somewhere. Okay, now
At
Hollywood
some point
Dreams
during-
looks like it's a competitive festival,
Okay.
whereas the other one, he just said, I'm going to show it.
Right.
But Hollywood Dreams, the email said, for Godsalt, I know we got a lot dropping here that no one's listening to. I'm getting all kinds of spam emails now. I used to never get them, and now, like, there's nothing
The more
I
you
can
put
do.
yourself out there, the more they get you.
But I'm not putting myself anywhere. So it says here, once again, your project has been selected for first round competition at Action on Film 2018. This is the one that says Hollywood Dreams Second Annual International Film Festival and Writers Event 2018 has updated the judging status of your submission to accept it. So it says Hollywood Dreams. Maybe Hollywood Dreams is like a subtitle or something.
Maybe it's
for
like
Action on Film.
Action on Films, and then the
Hollywood Dreams.
Yeah, like the what do you call it? The theme of the festival is Hollywood Dreams.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's what it is. So it's the same thing. I mean, I say win. You know, 2 films, even if it's one festival, 2 films, one festival, that's a win.
Right.
That's a big win. That's like way bigger than we've ever had anything go.
Right.
Actually accepted and showing.
Right.
Double win.
One's in competition, one's going to be shown, if that is actually the case. But either way, I've been contacted for both movies, and it looks like we are in this thing. Now, I have no other information beyond that.
Okay.
I believe what it sounds like is I'm going to get a letter in the mail for both movies with the rest of the information.
Okay.
So that's it. So there we go.
So
now, are
this
you
is
guys
when?
going to go to Vegas?
Fuck yeah. This is August.
16 through the
I have to
26th.
I have to look at the calendar. That's 10 days.
Well, I mean, it's not. I don't think I'm going to the Philippines next week
Yeah.
for 4 weeks. Well,
Oh,
3 weeks and then a 4th week off still. So like, I'm not gonna have
16.
any vacation time.
Yeah, that's a Thursday.
So once
Friday
once the information comes in,
to the following Monday.
I don't know if our movie. I don't know if Godsalt's going to screen at the beginning, go through a first phase of competition, and maybe a round robin or something like that, and then screen again if it moves on, or it'll be done at the beginning. Or if it's going to screen regularly throughout those 10 days, or if it's going to screen
We'll have to see if
semi-regularly.
Like a slot where we can. Because another thing that film festivals are good for is networking.
Right.
You go down, and there's industry people there. And you put yourself out there, and you kind of rub shoulders and elbows with whoever you can. That's one of the points of doing it.
Well, I think outside of like New York, Vegas is the next best thing to like.
Yeah,
LA.
besides LA, New York, and then
Vegas is
the
next door
about
neighbor.
it's about as big as we're gonna get to at this
Right
level,
now.
I think. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, we got to figure that out. I'm going.
right. And I've let everyone else know. Nobody has actually said anything to me other than, I did let, so there are people that I don't talk to that are in like Godsalt.
Right.
Kelly actually messaged me back after I told her. I mean, Patrick said, everyone said like congratulations. But like Kelly was talking to me about it. So
That's a win.
right. I don't know if she plans on going or not because she asked me like, how bad do you want Stone to be there? And for me, it's nobody has to go.
Yeah.
It's more of a matter like I understand people have lives, people have jobs, and Vegas is a trip, whether you drive or plane or bus. Time needs to come out of your schedule to go.
Yeah, and that's
So
tough for adults.
Anybody, right? So
Yeah.
so if anyone can go, great. And if people want to go, let's see if we can figure out some kind of when everyone can go at the same time kind of thing. So, and that's another thing is I don't know if it's like, oh hey, we're screening your movie. If you want, you can say a few words before it, or if it's like, hey, we're screening your movie. We don't care if you show up or not. So, if I can talk, that would be great. If I can talk, I would like everyone there at that same time. Like even if they don't want us talking, Even if there's no room for the filmmakers to be there because it's like, oh, we're on a tight schedule, we're showing movies, we don't want people sticking around, we're just going to show them, blah, blah, blah. I still want to be there no matter what the situation is.
Well, then you can get a feel for how people respond to it.
Absolutely.
Which I think would be interesting to get a whole fresh look at it from a perspective that we really haven't had an opportunity to see.
Well, I love that the guy said he thought it was funny. That's the kind of thing. It's not like it's a comedy, but I can laugh at it.
Absolutely. There are funny aspects to it.
Lots of funny aspects. Like, if you want, you can call it a comedy. That's not the intention, but I have no problem if people laugh their ass throughout the movie.
But the whole thing's funny.
Right.
But
Absolutely.
that you get that from certain kinds of movies, where it was written and directed and acted as a drama or a horror.
With funny shit in it.
Has funny stuff, or the way things came off in the film was just funny. And really, it's in the eye of the beholder. The people watching it think it's fucking hilarious.
Right.
Then, because a lot of the stuff, a lot of the stuff in that movie I think is fucking hilarious. Like Godsalt especially. I can't help but watch that movie and laugh most of the time.
I was listening to the commentary today at work. your Greg and Casey's commentary.
Yeah.
Like, it's good stuff. It's real good stuff. So there we are. How does the old lady feel about this?
She's like,
I don't get it.
I don't get it. I don't know how she really feels because we haven't talked about it, because I didn't know where it was. I didn't know if it was going to be remotely possible to go.
But she knows, right?
She knows that we're in.
Her.
Yeah, she knows. She's seen it and she liked it and everything. And so but we haven't talked. We haven't talked about it. Like, I think that she's probably like, that's awesome that you guys made something that got accepted to a film festival. Like, she
good for you.
Yeah,
good
like,
for you.
Golf clap. But she wasn't as invested in. I mean, she had some investment in Street Toughs, I think, but
well,
not,
she's in it.
Yeah, but not. And I won't even pretend to have the level of investment that you have. I mean, this is your blood, sweat, and tears, and your money, and your baby, and your heart. The whole thing this all came from you.
Yes.
And I feel attached to it because I helped make it.
Well, I mean, not Godsalt, but Street Toughs, you're like the second lead, or one of the top leads.
And I love the movie.
So,
but I can't compete with your angle on creation. As far as, I'm proud as hell of it.
Yeah, but I couldn't have done it without everybody else.
Nobody can do anything without everybody else.
Right, and that's the problem.
Yeah, that has been the problem.
So, everyone else involved is just as should feel. I understand if somebody's a walk-on or even a lead without doing anything else. I could understand a level of disconnect to it, but a small project, passion project like this, like you, should feel more invested, and like Derek should feel more invested, because like Derek was almost like the number 3 guy.
Yeah.
Like, he put a lot of work into the movie as well, when he didn't have to.
Well, that's I think that's what's great about it, and I think that's where the pride can come from, is this is something that we all wanted to do. We were all able to come together on it and do it. As hard as it was, and as many setbacks as there were, and the reshoots and everything, it was crazy. There were several times where we sat down and were
Are we done?
staring down the barrel of a bottle of scotch saying, this is it, we're done. Whatever we got is all we got, because we can't redo it now. It's too late.
Right.
And we did. We went back and we redid stuff, and we fixed things, and we did the best we
Made
could.
it happen.
Yeah, exactly. And that was, driving through to the end. So I think everybody has plenty to be proud of. And especially for the fact that it is a passion project. Nobody had to be there. Nobody got paid to be there.
Right.
And
Everything
even
was
if
on
you didn't
fucking
have
favors and
even if you didn't get your wallet out, to spend money physically on the project, it still costs people money to do shit like that. It costs you to play a game like that. It's like being in a band. Ask Casey.
Right.
How long did it take before the band could even sustain its own habit?
I don't even know if they still can.
Like, maybe at some point you make enough money on gigs to cover whatever expenses, or at least some of the expenses. You don't get that very often with what we're doing, and you don't get any payback other than the product that you make and the appreciation that everybody around you who's put time and effort into it. That's your payment, is creation. It's like painting. Most people don't get paid to paint or draw or anything else. And I think we're lucky to have, a hobby or whatever you want to call it that gets us a passion at the very least. That gets us to a point where we've spent this time together.
Well, I mean, it's funny if you think about it. Like, and Kelly said this to me when we were talking back and forth. Was like, so we made Godsalt 4 years ago, and now it's going to be seen by someone other than like
family and friends.
Right. Oh, and you know what? There's another thing. Hold on a second.
There's another thing. And another one. So I'm here all by myself, eating the pizza with Cookie. And Matt has hot sauce here. It's called Truff. Black truffle infused. Looks hot.
There's another thing I was kind of hoping more from. I don't think I told you about this. You want to try that?
I might have like a little bit.
Like I caught that on a Facebook ad.
This is?
Yeah, so it's for the people watching and listening. Truff.
We were just talking about that.
Oh, I saw it on a Facebook ad and I was like, okay, fine. Tell 'em Steve Dave, my favorite podcast, they put out this call to action for fans to create like commercials for like a DVD they were going to do. So I was like, okay, I'll do that. And they eventually put this Blu-ray out.
Okay.
And it was kind of like a game show that they were trying to shop around, and they wanted like fake commercials for like commercial breaks. And I was hoping the trailer that I made was going to make it into the main feature, but it's not. It's in the special features for like other stuff.
But it's something.
So anybody who's hit that like more commercials on this Blu-ray, who got this Blu-ray, they've seen our work.
Which is cool.
So our work is on this Blu-ray that has sold and gone out to people. It just didn't make it into the main feature. Like what I was going to do is be like, Corey, borrow this and watch it. And then you would watch it and you would see.
Like, oh my God.
And it was kind of like a mashup of all of our stuff.
Right.
Because I was like, okay, I want to have it prominent that you see the 4-Color Demons patch that they created on there. So I put as much of, the patch in there, and then I put in some of, like, the more gratuitous scenes in our movies, like where Patrick is banging Kelly and, like, Godsalt and Street Meets Pavement, and, like, the dancing chicks in Street Toughs. So, like, just a real quick, I think, 30-second thing of just, like, oh, here is 4-Color Demons. So it's not like it's a Street Toughs trailer. It's, like, a fake trailer from our footage.
Gotcha.
But it's on this Blu-ray. It didn't make it into the main feature, but our stuff
it's still produced.
Is out there in the world.
Yeah. It's in the wild.
It's in the wild.
It's for real now.
It's for real now.
For all time.
For all time. So things are happening.
Yeah, more things than we had counted on at any time previous.
Things we hoped.
Absolutely.
So.
And I think the thing to do is to keep hoping and to keep trying. I mean, if you didn't have any hope, you wouldn't have sent it into another film festival, either movie. So at least a little bit of faith and throwing it out there and hoping to get someplace. And you never know. You end up in Vegas and, you rub around a little bit and talk to the right people, and you end up in a bar one night bullshitting with somebody you don't know. Both of you are fucking tanked. And I mean, this is how A-list movies are made.
Sure.
You end up talking to the guy that has the pull, or that has a contact to get you to the guy that has the pull to make something. And, maybe something that we've already made doesn't get any action.
I mean, I don't want to jinx anything.
But and it's not about jinx. You can't jinx stuff. It's not real.
You don't think that, but there's something else I want to talk about. It was like, I used to be a lucky guy. My luck has gone out of the fucking window.
It's a cycle. It's a cycle. You go to the top and you're lucky, and then you go down and you're less lucky and less lucky until you're on the bottom, and you just get shit on for like a long time, and then eventually you get done getting shit on and you feel not that you're getting better, but you're just less shit on, and you ride that wheel around back up the other side, and you start to feel the shit dripping off of you, and at some point you're not covered in shit anymore, and then you finally get to the point where you're starting to get lucky again, and you start getting what I won't say what you're due, but you start getting back on top of the wheel where you're not taking it up the ass every fucking time you turn around. You're getting somewhere.
Well, I'm right at the beginning of that shitty cycle, man.
Well, you know what? I'm coming up on the top of the wheel again. I'm coming up on the top of the wheel, so I'm going to take you with me.
All right.
I'm going to dig you out of the shit.
Last time I went to Vegas, I got a ticket going down there.
That's because you drove too fast.
Yeah, but the millions of times that I've driven fast. That's a bad decision. And then fucking at work, I kept getting a bunch of fucking errors. And I keep breaking like glass things. And it just feels like
you got to take a step back.
Shitty time.
You got to take a step back and revisit. I think we need to look at this as a positive experience that we're getting back on top of the wheel with the movie. I mean, that's something. We got 2 something plus the Blu-ray. That's 3 something.
3 somethings.
You know, and they come in 3s. So maybe that's it. Maybe you carry on.
Maybe. So we'll see. Cheers.
Maybe. Me too.
But I do have another one that I picked out. I don't know if you saw this.
I probably didn't.
Something that I remember from as a kid.
Some PBRs. Oh, Zimas! You guys like some Zima?
Remember this as a kid?
I didn't grow up around anybody gay enough to buy shit like this. Coors Light was the beverage of choice in my circles. But I do remember when it came out and it was, I don't even remember the marketing campaign.
I don't either.
But I just remember that it was like, oh, fresh.
I mean, it looks like water.
Watery, Sprite, like kind of boozy thing, and it's like, I don't know, like bitch beer. And then
it was like the precursor to Mike's Hard Lemonade.
Right, and then it was like gone. Yeah. Like late 90s.
And now we've got a limited edition, limited release Zima.
It smells like nothing.
Yes, see, my sister there says Sarah loves Zima. Sarah was my aunt. I remember as a kid this being around.
This is Sprite
with a little alcohol.
This is lemon lime vodka Sprite.
So yeah, I think we have a photo of Sarah and Mom holding one. So like I'm saying, like the older women in my family when I was a kid, I remember seeing the Zimas.
Right.
And then I saw limited release and I'm like, oh my god.
It's not terrible. Refreshing citrus beverage. 5% alcohol by volume.
By volume.
It's not terrible.
It's not.
It really isn't. Like this.
Very light.
This is kind of nice.
It doesn't even say the alcohol percentage on here.
Yeah, it does. It says 5%.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, at the very.
Oh, there it is.
But it's like when you have like a cold Sprite or like a cold lemonade or something like, or a cold light beer, something that's very refreshing when it's hot outside. I would go for one of these.
Before moving on to something.
Yeah, I mean like.
To start a pre-gamer.
Exactly, like it's kind of light and refreshing. That's all. It probably says that. No, it doesn't.
It just says refreshing.
It is refreshing, however.
So, Cory, have you watched the movies? You said you watched the movies. Before we get to the movie we just watched.
Some movies. In fact, I've watched a lot of movies and a lot of TV. And
on your your downtime.
Because it's hard for me to watch DVDs. So you have a very limited amount of time to watch DVDs. So if I have stuff that's like on Netflix.
So you haven't watched any DVDs that I let you borrow?
I haven't said that.
Okay.
I haven't watched enough to cover a section yet.
Okay.
But
because right now you have every single Tom Cruise movie that I own.
I have
and that he's made. And that he's made.
That he's made.
Excluding the Mission Impossible 6 coming out.
Did you? I saw. It was a funny like a spoof trailer, and it was like. I don't remember if it was Jack Reacher spoof or Mission Impossible, the title they went with, but they're like Tom Cruise and blah blah blah, and it's like they cut all of his action movies.
Oh, I caught
together.
Something. I caught something on that,
and it made it look like he was against himself.
Right? Yeah, Tom Cruise
against
fights
other Tom
his greatest nemesis, Tom Cruise, or something like that.
He fights his greatest nemesis.
I didn't watch
himself. It's funny as hell because I mean the
but
editing really is decent.
Well, I mean every single movie he makes is an action movie.
That's what I mean.
And you know, it's like I've lost every kind of thought that I wanted to talk about Tom Cruise movies since you've taken so long to watch them.
I know, and I'm sorry.
You probably haven't even watched them in order.
Probably not. So one of the parts of the clips of this movie, it had me going for a second because I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Because I didn't pay attention to what they called it. And it was a scene from one of the Mission Impossibles, I don't remember which one at this point, where he's riding a motorcycle or he's driving a car or something, and they fucking launch a missile from an airplane at it.
For a helicopter. That's 3, and it hits the Dodge Stratus or whatever, and he fucking
Okay, well, they used the footage correctly because they switched to a cockpit view of
Tom Cruise in Top Gun.
And Top Gun. And Tom Cruise flips his mask off, and he goes, I know what they're probably thinking. Holy shit, that's that's fucking, what the fuck were their called? Maverick and Iceman, or whatever, or Maverick and Goose. He goes, that's probably what they're thinking. Holy shit, it's Maverick and Goose. Because they like fired the rocket, and then he says that, and then it switches to the other view of this incoming rocket. It was just funny as hell. It really was entertaining.
Well, if you had ever finished those Tom Cruise runs, I was going to send you a couple of different funny Tom Cruise videos. Like, there's one from the set of Mission Impossible 2 where Ben Stiller's like his stunt double, but he's like creepy and shit. And he's like trying too much to be like his best friend and be just like him.
Right.
And then he did one on Conan where like he hops into the car with Conan driving, and he's like, oh yeah, this is where we're gonna we're gonna start singing, right? We're gonna do the karaoke, you know. and Conan's like, no, that's so and so's thing. What's his name? James Corden's thing.
Right.
He's like, oh, okay. Oh, but we're gonna get coffee, right? We're gonna get coffee, you know. We're driving around. We're gonna get coffee. Like, oh, yeah, no, that's Jerry Seinfeld's thing. We're not doing that. We're just going to drive. And, we're not going to talk or anything. We're just going to drive. He's like, oh, we're just driving. And, like, at one point, he, like, falls asleep. And he's like, how long was I asleep for? He's like 45 minutes. And then he's like, oh, you know what, I got something. What was Deborah Winger like? And he's like, Deborah Winger? He's like, I was in Top Gun. That was Officer and Gentleman. That was Richard Gere. I wasn't in that movie. I hear she's great though. I was in Top Gun.
That's fucking hilarious.
It's really funny. So what have you been watching?
I've been binging on TV because it's easy. A show called Supernatural, which is apparently as old as fuck now. But I watched the entire series up to present day.
I did that, and then I stopped up to present day, 2014.
Yeah. Just...
Well, because I stopped, and then I'd have to wait a year for the current season.
Exactly, I hate that. Like I watched...
So I moved on.
Exactly.
So I watched everything current up to 2014. Like I think through season 9. I think they're on
13.
Yeah. So
this year's 13.
But it's the same.
It really is. It's the same over and over and over again. and I think season 9 was the Leviathan. Was that? Or maybe that was later.
Earlier, I think.
Earlier?
The guys with the heads that opened up.
Yeah, and they eat people.
No, that was like 5 or 6.
No, was it that early?
Yeah.
Wow.
Dick Roman.
Dick Roman.
I don't got dick on dick.
I don't got dick.
Why would we want dick on dick? They did
lot
make
of
a
dick jokes.
A lot of dick jokes in that season.
And I think that the humor, the effort they put into like tipping the hat to different series and different different movies and at least different genres and whatever. I think that really the writing and the producing, they do a good work of that.
Good steady.
It's not like they overdo it at any one point, but it's just like they toss a little something in it. My favorite, most recent, I don't know if it was most recent, but pretty recent episodes was Scooby Natural.
Right, they did the Scooby-Doo one. That's a recent episode. That's this
fucking
season.
Hilarious.
That's the only thing I want to kind of check out, but
It's worth a watch because it's
what?
different.
The episodes that I always liked were the episodes that weren't supernatural. So there'd be a few episodes like earlier on in the show,
Right.
where they would run into like some redneck hicks out in the backwoods.
I remember that one.
There's more than one. There's a couple different ones.
There's several where they ran into people that were fucked up.
And I thought those episodes were really, really strong episodes. Like, you would think, like, oh, they're not doing a fucking demon thing or whatever.
But they're trying to build it so that it looked supernatural.
Because there was, like, little kids. The first one, I think, was, like, little kids. And they were freaked out by these little ghostly kids. But then the little girl stepped over the salt circle, and he's like, these aren't ghosts. Because they would not be able to do that.
Right.
So they figure out that these are real people kind of being spooky.
Yeah.
And then there was, like, a few more, and I always felt like those are really strong
Those were
episodes.
the stronger content-wise.
I mean, you can't say that like 3 or 4 out of 500 are like the strongest episodes.
But they
like
were
in the earlier
more
seasons,
interesting.
yeah, they were more interesting.
Sure.
Before they really got into their groove.
Yeah, and I think it took them probably 3 or 4 seasons to really get the momentum of where they were headed.
And then, like, I think it's the first 5 or 6
seasons
that are they're good, they're steady, and then the next season is just a huge drop off.
Yeah,
and it had to build back up again
because I did some reading about what was expected of that series, and it was supposed to be like, maybe 3 or 4 seasons, and then that's gonna be it. Like that's really as far as they thought it out.
Mm-hmm.
And when they got to that point, they just kept renewing it, getting deals, and like.
These guys have never done anything else.
Yeah, well, that's not entirely true.
Well, Jared Padalecki did the Friday the 13th remake, which sucked, and then Jensen Ackles did the My Bloody Valentine remake, which sucked, and then they never really did anything else.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying they've never done anything else, but
they've never really done it.
They've done a few other things, but this is their bread and butter. And I think the characters they play the characters extremely well.
Well, it's just like
who they are.
Smallville. Smallville was on for like 9-10 seasons.
Yeah.
And Homeboy that played Superman never did anything. He was in the Fog remake. So, like, these people in TV shows make these shitty fucking remake of horror classics, and they never do anything else.
Yeah, I can see that. Because it's the same thing with, you ever watch NCIS? You ever watch that?
Are you talking about Mark Harmon?
Yeah.
But he was before NCIS.
Yes, before NCIS, he was in a shitty movie that nobody ever saw.
No, he was in a bunch of, like, funny 80s movies. Like, you ever see Summer School? Summer School is hilarious. And, and if anyone listens to this, they might think that I'm an idiot. But, like, Summer School, like, he's, like, this teacher. And I think he's ready to take off for the summer or something, and he gets fucking roped into like this summer school class with a bunch of fuck ups.
Right.
And I have that movie. I own it because it was one of those movies that was in heavy rotation on like HBO or Encore, Star, or Showtime.
Right.
And so like if I'd be at home during the summer, flipping through channels, this movie would be on and it would grab my attention and I'd watch it. So as an adult, I bought it because I remember liking this movie. This is one of those movies
Right.
that was just always on in the middle of the day during the summer.
And you just watched it.
And I just watched it. And I actually genuinely liked that movie with a young Mark Harmon, not with the gray hair.
Right.
Are they still doing that show?
Yes.
And he's still doing it?
Yes.
So, I mean,
He's an executive
it's a job.
producer now.
It's a job.
Absolutely.
You know, that's when you know the show's almost done. Because they're
He's
like,
been an executive producer for like the last fucking 5 or 6 years.
when you see that, like,
The lead.
the leads are suddenly producers on the show,
Yeah.
it's probably because they were going to cancel it the previous season.
Right.
And they're like, well, I'll put some money into it to keep it going.
Right.
Like Castle, I watched Castle all the way to the end. In the last couple seasons, the two leads suddenly become the producers.
Right.
And those two fucking like hated each other by the last season. That they had a whole
Like falling
arc,
out.
the entire arc of like the last season or two is like, oh, you guys can't be together, otherwise this society is gonna know and they're gonna kill you and kill everyone. So they're not on the show at all together. They're doing separate things in the episodes.
So you can tell that the production of the show is like, okay, we need to not work together
Right.
anymore.
It was just no bueno.
But not very often do you see like prominent television stars go to do anything better.
Right.
I'm not saying it never happens,
Right. They just
but it's very.
it goes
few and far
both ways.
between.
Sometimes a TV star will go into movies, and sometimes a movie star will go into TV.
I always think that's weird when movie stars go back to TV. It just
Well,
seems
right
like
now, TV is huge.
TV's the new movie.
TV is the new movie. It's
Yeah.
so much easier to sit at home and binge watch 10 episodes of a show.
But think about how much
And
more.
love it.
Yeah, how much more longevity you get, where you make one movie, it's an hour 45, or 2:15, or whatever it is.
But they make more money from movies than they do TV shows. I mean, I'm assuming.
But
I don't know.
there's still money being spent. I mean, Jensen Ackles and
I mean, I really don't understand how like
Jared
Netflix makes money.
Neither do I. I mean, other than they have a
Other than
subscription base,
the $10 monthly.
and they don't do commercials.
But I mean, they have to throw that money out in a big lump sum to produce Daredevil season 3,
And
Luke
that's-
Cage.
I think I've been wanting to talk about this. This is another thing that because I've watched a lot of the Netflix original stuff because it's easy. It's like 30 minutes, 42 minutes, whatever it is, and it's fast and you can
It's 10 episodes.
exactly and you can watch it here and there and you just stack it up.
Well, look,
But-
hold on. Like Fargo season 3, Ewan McGregor is the star of Fargo season 3. Ewan McGregor, who's a prominent TV or movie
A-list.
A-list movie actor,
Absolutely.
and he's in Fargo season 3. Anyways, go ahead.
But it amazes me how prominent like Netflix original. I used to think that Netflix original, oh, that's going to be garbage. Like that's going to be some shitty B-list stuff. And some of it is.
Well, hold on.
Some of it is.
You gotta be able to
Movies and
separate. Sometimes it'll have Netflix's name above something that they had nothing to do with. They just bought the rights to show it.
okay.
I think it's mostly foreign stuff.
A lot of foreign stuff.
They'll bring it over and they'll be like Netflix, and then it'll show the name, and then there will be the Netflix original. So like
maybe I'm not just separating those two.
I think mostly
in
the
my
TV
eye.
shows are Netflix originals, but
Sure.
sometimes you gotta understand that maybe
There's
they,
some movies,
they
but
just
there's a lot of foreign stuff.
there's a lot of foreign stuff, and they'll say Netflix above it, and that's just because they paid to get the original rights to air it in
Exclusive
America,
rights.
exclusive rights. So, but all the TV shows, all the Marvel stuff, like House of Cards,
Like they produced that.
yeah, they put their money down to make that from scratch.
But I mean, what an idea, right? What a market.
And you'll see lists online about like these Netflix shows suck, and they're usually ones I've never heard of, but like they hit it out of the park with like House of Cards. Of course, Kevin Spacey fucked up, and so no more House of Cards. Kind of ruined a good thing, that guy. And like Arrested Development, I loved the show originally, and they came on to do season 4 and season 5 which is dropped, is kind of very weak. Not a big fan of it, but it's new Arrested Development. But yeah, so there's a lot of like we talked about Cloverfield, right?
Yeah, Cloverfield Paradox.
That was a Netflix original. There was like this time travel, like Groundhog Day kind of movie.
Yep.
That was a Netflix original, and I kind of like that one. I like the people that are in that movie. I like those kids.
Which one that was?
It was on Halloween, and the dude meets the girl on Halloween. Fast forward 10 years.
Okay.
And then he goes into a picture booth, like a photo booth.
Okay. I haven't seen it.
Sends him back 10 years, and he can play it over again to where he ends up with the girl and she doesn't marry the other dude.
Oh, okay.
And he does it like 5 or 6 times before he figures out what the real solution is.
What the answer
his growth. His growth movement in that movie. So yeah.
But yeah, a lot of time travel stuff. Other than that, I don't know why. Aliens. I watched the guys that did Shaun of the Dead, and
they didn't do one.
No, they didn't do one together. But I forget the guy's name. The skinny English dude.
Simon Pegg.
From Shaun of the Dead.
He didn't do one, did he?
Got Red on You. Yeah. It was
I didn't.
Anything. It was called Anything You Want. And the premise of the movie is that these aliens are like, all right, Earth is up next.
Oh.
We're going to give them the test.
Is that the one with Bill Hader? Is it Bill Hader that's in that? Here's another thing. You're walking through Walmart and you're looking at the DVDs.
Yep.
And you're like, I've never heard of any of these, but Bruce Willis is in all of them. Nicolas Cage is in all of them. I've never heard of any of these movies.
That surprises the shit out of me. Like,
here is money. Make your movie. Like, here's like Mr.
Sure.
Bruce Willis. Here is $5 million to be in the movie. Here's the script. Yes or no? Yes. You go to the set. You make the movie. You don't know what happens to that movie once you're done.
right.
Warner Brothers can buy it up for distribution. Direct-to-video can buy it up for distribution. Netflix can buy it up for distribution.
So you get paid to do the movie, you go do the movie, and then whatever happens after that is
That's
after
why.
the fact.
Absolutely. That's why if you're watching Netflix and you're like, Netflix movie with A-list actor.
Yeah.
I don't remember seeing this in theaters.
And yeah, most of the shit I've never even seen a preview for.
But yet they're A-list actors.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you might look down on a movie that you didn't see in theaters, or at least see a trailer for it to be in theaters.
I've seen a ton of movies that were never offered anywhere other than Netflix or on DVD or something obscure.
Right.
And I only look down on it. I look down on the title before I watch it, which I think is unfair. But it's a knee-jerk reaction.
Right.
If this wasn't good enough to go to the theater,
Must be garbage.
It must be shit.
Yeah.
And that's not fair because I've seen some of those Nick Cage movies where, it was direct to Netflix or direct to DVD or whatever. And, granted, maybe not his best work, but...
There was a Nick Cage movie that came out, played at Sundance. I think it's called, like, Mom and Dad Kill Everybody, or something weird. It's Nick Cage and Selma Blair, and I think the parents in this neighborhood are turning into, like, zombies.
Okay.
And I think it got a lot of good feedback at Sundance, but it went direct to video. So it's like, it doesn't matter if everybody in the world loves it. If studio head who sees it doesn't like it, pass.
Yeah, it gets fucking dropped in the bucket for the next guy.
Mm-hmm.
And whoever wants it or if nobody wants it.
Right. So, studio head says $5 million for a movie. Netflix says 10.
Sell it to Netflix.
Yeah, that's where it goes.
Yeah. Goes to whoever gets their money out.
Or if I had $10 million, I'll buy it, do nothing with it.
You could.
It'd sit on a shelf forever.
Nobody ever see it.
That happens all the time.
See, that's sad. Like, you're talking about movies that get made.
Movies that people put time into.
A made movie gets bought and paid for.
And never seen.
That's a waste.
Super waste.
But could you imagine if you came across the collection of film that somebody bought that nobody had ever seen?
That would
other
be
than the people that
mine.
made it.
That'd be a gold mine.
To be able to release a fresh new movie starring, whoever your favorite dead actor
or
is.
even this happens. Here's the money. We make 90% of the movie. Don't have enough money to finish it. And it sits on a shelf forever. And it's done.
Unedited, unfinished. Or maybe edited.
Semi-edited. But, like, whatever happened to that movie that we made, And it's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Never saw it. So, like, it's a weird...
It's a weird beast, the whole thing.
But, like, it works like that for everything. So, like, if I were to be like, Cory, I found this one-of-a-kind thing. It's King Kong. It's the only one there is. Here you go.
And I love King Kong.
Or, you tell me that you love King Kong, you throw it away.
Sure.
One of a kind. Goes in the garbage, gone forever. So it goes for everything. Like, I could be like, oh my god! And so-and-so will love this, and then so-and-so doesn't love it.
Yeah.
Or so-and-so dies the next day. Somebody else doesn't know what it is. Throws it away. It's garbage. Dog shit.
That's how shit like that ends up in yard sales and in garbage and who knows where. And I guess you're right. The whole world is like that. Everything.
There's a lot of quality everything out there in the world that people overlook, take for granted.
Just out of ignorance because they don't know.
Right.
Like coins. Like collectible coins or whatever, or rare coins. You have a pocket full of change, and a nickel to you is a nickel. But you might have a nickel that's worth $10,000 in your pocket, and you have no idea.
Right.
And you would never know.
You give it to the guy at Walmart, takes it, throws it in the register.
And it gets handed out to 70 other people throughout the month, and eventually it ends up in the hands of the one guy that knows that it's worth something.
Right.
It doesn't mean he sells it
right.
and makes a bunch of money, but maybe he keeps it and it stays in a binder for the rest of his life. And 40 years later, somebody else ends up.
Or you spend your life accruing the money on something that you know is valuable, and then you die and someone else.
It's garbage.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, it's sad. Because, and really
it's sad and it's strange. What can you do?
What gives things value? At all.
You give things value.
Whoever you are, the person that has the value in their mind.
Right.
To
me, Cory, that microphone's worth $20. Somebody else, it's worth $50. Somebody else, it ain't worth shit.
Yeah.
I don't want it.
Exactly. It's garbage. Or it's some just junky electronic thing and it ends up in a box and goes to the fucking Savers or Goodwill.
And they say, I can't do anything with this.
And it's like, yeah, it's broken electronics, it's missing parts. Because it's missing the cord. Throw it away.
Or it looks strange. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Throw it away.
Is this snow cone maker?
What is that?
It's from True Lies.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
There's a scene.
What is the accent you're doing?
It's supposed to be Arnold Schwarzenegger.
You did it like a southern. This is a snow cone maker. What is this? Hey,
he's a snow cone maker. That's how he says it in the movie.
Which part? What is he talking about?
There's a terrorist and they capture Arnold and his wife.
When he's when he's drugged up.
I think they had him. They had drugged him at that point.
This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to pick that thing up over there. I'm going to throw it at that guy. I'm going to use you as a human shield. Yeah. He's like, what makes you think you're going to do all that?
My hand goes. I picked. But anyways, they've got them together, and they have this nuclear warhead, and they smuggled it out of.
Yes, okay.
And
what's that? A snow cone maker?
No, he's sitting there and
he's being sarcastic about it.
He is, but the terrorist is trying to get him to corroborate on video that he's a spy and I know that is this whatever Mark 32 fucking P38 P38.
Yes, okay, I know exactly what you're talking about now.
And he goes.
I remember every time he said that.
This is? What did he do?
Oh, right, because he doesn't want to say in front of his wife. She's like,
warhead.
You don't want him, you want me.
I'm the spy.
Spy, right? And he doesn't want to let it out yet.
Yeah, and he's still
And
trying
she's
to...
like, have you killed people? Oh, yeah, lots. But they were all bad guys.
But they were all bad. Old-fashioned Arnold stuff. Still a huge fan.
Still a huge fan. Haven't saw the last two. Got one sitting in there. I think the other one's on Amazon Prime.
Oh, his fresh stuff?
The one's on the Voodoo account. The airplane movie. And then he did the comedy one, Killing Gunther. I really want him to be in Predator again. Did you see the Predator trailer? You didn't see the Predator trailer?
I have not seen a Predator trailer.
Well, let's watch the Predator trailer real quick, and then we need to talk
And
about.
we need to talk about the
Han Solo.
Han Solo.
I can't believe you haven't seen this. Oh, what the?
I don't have cable.
Yeah, like I watch TV.
I know, but you're so much more hip and with it.
I hate this shit. I hate the preview to the preview.
It's a preview. Awesome.
We're now watching the Predator 2018 trailer. Radio silence. Just wait.
Who ships a bunch of alien tech to a tank?
You haven't seen the movie yet.
Tell me about the mission. Did you see anything unusual? Like an alien, you mean?
You saw something.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And your men? Someone or something tore them to pieces.
I think they're attempting hybridization. They're upgrading on every planet they visit.
We need to know if you pose a threat.
We're assassins. Isn't posing a threat kind of the point?
So I love Arnold Schwarzenegger more than anybody, except maybe you.
So maybe me.
You probably love him as much as I do.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
At least that old school style of action flick where he was just... It was good and funny at the same time.
Absolutely. And he was good at making the movie good.
Absolutely.
Like, it's not like he was putting on Oscar-worthy performances.
No, but he
acted
was,
the part.
Absolutely. And I think that's what he was good at, was playing the character.
Right.
And not,
I mean, he had his one-liners in every movie and everything else
Absolutely.
like that, and like, but he's good. It wasn't a bad actor by any means necessary.
Absolutely.
All right, so that Predator trailer, to me, I'm a little scared that it looks like it's a little soft.
It does look a little soft, but maybe it's because they're going old school and they're not going to give up all the fucking goodies in the trailer.
Dude, there was a trailer for a movie that I watched today before you got there, and it was the second trailer I've seen for this movie. It's called Skyscraper. Did you see the trailer for Skyscraper?
No.
The Rock. The second trailer that I watched was basically all the best scenes in that movie. Literally, all the best scenes were in that trailer.
I hate that.
And we talk about this all the time.
We do, because it's bullshit.
Because they keep showing trailers to movies.
And it's like the whole movie. It's like all the good shit.
Literally, like, this must have been one of the most expensive movies ever made. Like, it's about, like, I guess, like an ex-vet, and like a veteran, and like, you get the plot of the movie in the first trailer. You don't get the plot of the movie in the second trailer. You get, like, the conflict of the movie in the second trailer. So, like, I think the plot is that he put, like, it's the world's largest skyscraper.
Okay.
And I think he installed the security system. All right. And then in the second trailer, there's, like, a terrorist organization that wants something that's locked up in this skyscraper, and they set the skyscraper on fire. And his family is
At the top.
At the top.
Of course.
And so you see him fucking climbing this skyscraper, jumping off of a crane onto a burning building. You see him fucking, like, they're in this elevator, and you see him grabbing an axe, and he chops, like, a thing, and the elevator goes shooting down. Like, literally, all the best action scenes were in this trailer.
It makes me sad.
Like, oh my god, like, why are they showing this? Like, I sure hope that the rest of the movie is fucking gold if this is good enough for the trailer.
Yeah, that's trailer material.
And The Rock was in the movie Rampage. I don't think, did we talk about Rampage?
I haven't seen it.
Like, that trailer for Rampage is the movie. There was nothing different in the movie than what was in the trailer.
Wow.
Like, you see the thing come down, you see the animals become big giant monsters and destroy the city, which is what the video game was.
Yeah.
But in the movie, there was nothing else beyond that.
It just was extended action scenes of that.
That's exactly all it was. Extended action scenes of all of that.
Wow. So the movie we saw today...
Solo. We watched Solo. I asked you if you would go see Solo before we podcasted. We ended up going. Like, it's the only time we've ever gone to the movies together.
Yeah, it is.
But we were at Guardians of the Galaxy at the same time.
Yes,
but unbeknownst until
after the fact.
Until we were there.
Right.
Because I was talking to Greg. Greg was over here editing the trailer for Godsalt so that I can put it on to our press page.
Okay.
For the festival. So Greg made a new trailer. Have you seen? You haven't seen the new trailer?
I haven't seen the new trailer.
All right, real quick, let's show you the new trailer. I'm not sure where it is. Do you see a Godsalt trailer?
Yeah, right there.
Is that it?
We're pretty far out here for just a human trafficking ring.
I'm listening. There's a cult.
We're kind of screwed if anything happens, man.
These people are killers, and that's why we need to stop them.
The alignment will be complete in 48 hours. Our window is closed.
Me and Patrick.
This cult is being led by someone known as the Master.
And a ninja.
This cult wants to sacrifice my granddaughter.
When we get the girl, we'll kill them all. Can you even handle taking care of a little girl?
We all get back to my place where we can watch over her. Got it? Good. John! Beer! Now!
Take it easy. Hey, you still got a job to do.
We've been working this call for way too long for us to let
Look how
this
young
go.
you were.
When the planets and stars align, the ceremony of Godsalt begins.
Oh, jeez. You can't take the girl.
Old school. For sure.
So he spent like 6 hours making that trailer.
It looks nice.
It does look nice. All right, so
I
Solo.
missed my favorite line in the whole fucking movie.
It's not the fag line, is it?
No.
Okay. Which line is your favorite line?
Get some fucking KFC.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was funny.
So yeah, okay. So we went and saw Solo
Yes, we did.
because I was talking to Greg when he was editing that, and my thing was like, so this movie introduces these new characters, the ones that don't die. Spoilers ahead, people.
The title of this one would be Spoilers.
Spoilers.
Star Wars Solo spoilers.
Star Wars Solo spoilers. It's like, it's not like these characters ever come back in like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah, which I thought was interesting. I mean, because they leave.
But then I was like, I guess they can do more young Solo movies where this character wouldn't come back.
Well, I mean, if you look at the timeline where we're at now, at the end of Solo, we are at the.
Post 3, pre 4.
Is it post 3?
I think it's post 3.
I think it's post 2. Because that's when they killed Darth Maul.
Darth Maul died in 1, but they brought Darth Maul back in the TV shows that take place after.
Oh, in the. That's
The
right,
Clone
because
Wars
he was in the
shows.
Clone Wars.
And he has robotic legs, and he had robotic legs in that shot that they had of
Did they?
Darth
I
Maul.
didn't notice that.
Well, because I didn't pay attention the first time, knowing after the fact, I paid attention this time. He had robotic legs, and like he had a robotic sound when he stood up.
Okay, like a Darth Vader thing.
So yeah.
Whatever. So like post 3,
It's
pre
post 3,
4.
pre 4.
So, you know, there's a little bit of...
There's room to make
there's a little
more
bit of room
solo
there.
movies, but like because like Kira, the Emilia Clarke character, like having her live in this movie only makes sense if like an old Han Solo runs into her. You know what I mean? But Han Solo's dead now.
He is dead now.
So like he's never gonna be like, oh my god, it's Kira. We
So
knew each other when we
basically
were
she
kids.
She has to die in the next one.
Right, if they do a next one, or like the third one, if they do a third one.
Yeah. I mean...
Because I know Darth
I don't know
Maul
if there's
dies. Darth Maul officially dies.
dies in the...
One of the TV shows that they like, the Clone Wars TV shows
Okay.
that they did. I think Obi-Wan cuts his head off.
Okay.
So he actually dies. So, like, they created this new character and let her live. And we all know Han Solo goes on to be a badass and fall in love with Princess Leia and then die.
Right.
But Han Solo's not getting any younger. He's not doing any more Star Wars movies.
So, I mean, he has to... Whatever happens has to happen in
In a sequel
In
to
the
a
sequel
direct sequel to Solo.
Solo. Absolutely. I mean, where are we at with prequels? We have Rogue One.
Rogue One, which I thought was fantastic.
I thought it was a great movie because it came together, it ended up where it should have, and it gave light to plenty of...
And I just thought it was gripping.
Yeah,
I thought it was
absolutely.
gripping because I don't like.
It moved very
I
quickly.
hated 6 or 7, and I hated 8 even more. Like we talked about 8.
We've talked about how much you hate those movies. So, I think my favorite thing of all of Solo was the fact that they basically took all of the little nuances of those two characters of Chewie and Han Solo.
And Lando.
And Lando. They took... Okay, so those are our 3 main characters.
Those are our 3 previously known characters.
That's what I'm saying. Those are our 3 characters that we already know and we already like them.
Right. And we're meeting them for the first
And
time.
they give
Again.
they give you everything I think that they can. That makes those
without
characters
making
who they
it
are.
cheesy and
without
like,
making it cheesy.
oh my god, they made that joke.
Yeah. But there were plenty of jokes.
Plenty
I
of jokes
wouldn't
that
call them
were
jokes, but they were like a little
Inside
tip of the
jokes,
hat.
yes. Without being too much of a wink.
Right.
So,
Like the dice.
I don't remember the dice. Is that
the
in-
hanging dice? That is a thing.
Which
From
movie? Like 4, 5, or 6?
4, 5, 6.
I don't ever
The
remember
dice
seeing
are
those.
they hang on the mirror of the Millennium Falcon.
See, I don't remember that
And
shit at all.
But they don't pay any attention to that little piece in 4, 5, and 6.
it's just a
It's
set decoration.
just a set decoration. It's just a thing, probably something that whoever PA
Lucas
threw
was
up on
like,
there.
"This is kind of cool. Throw it up there."
Or-
because
or set
everybody has
decorator.
dice hanging in their car rear view.
Right, and
so now they
Han
took
Solo's
it-
that kind of guy.
Right, and now they took it and they made it like, oh, these were his lucky dice he shared with like his first girlfriend.
Right, and that it made it a thing. How Han and Chewie met.
You know,
Interesting, always
because I was
questioned.
watching that the first time I watched it, and I was like, what is this going to be, like a Rancor or something?
That's what I thought. I thought.
And then it's like, oh, it's Chewie!
And then
So I was
right
okay
after
with
that,
it.
you're like, okay, well, Han's got to get out of this because we know Han and Chewie are best buds. But you see, like, how that comes about, and I think it's good storytelling, and as handholdy as that whole movie is, because that's all it really is.
It is.
It's prequel handholding.
Because you know
Because
he lives, you know where he ends up. So
Exactly.
you can't be too scared for him. You can't be too on the edge of your seat for him.
But
It's like, how did it happen?
It's like a hostage thing, though. Like, I want you to tell me what you know about the nuclear reactors. And you're like, fuck
That's
you.
a snow cone
Oh, it's a
maker."
snow cone maker. It's a hot water heater. You're not going to tell me shit, but now I have your girlfriend. Now she's the hostage, and you're going to tell me when I want him to kill your girlfriend.
So, it's
So
like,
we
is this
know,
why he's a hard ass? This is why he's a hard ass.
we know that Han and Chewie make it.
Right.
We just already know that. But who is it that, okay, now the girl, yeah, that makes sense. Now he's attached to this girl from early age. He's trying to find her. And, oh, my God, we find the girl. And now she's
Right
part
away.
of this, too.
Right
I thought that
away.
was a little easy.
Yeah,
a little
super easy.
A little easy.
Because did you feel that the trailer for Solo, after seeing Solo, was a little misleading?
And I prefer it that way. I did think that it was misleading compared to the movie itself.
It's like one of those things, like, did you see Passengers? Have we talked about Passengers? With Chris Pratt? In the trailer for Passengers, I think we even talked about this when it came out. They show Andy Garcia in the trailer for Passengers. And I'm sitting there watching this movie for 2 hours knowing that Andy Garcia is going to show up in this movie at some point. And he doesn't show up until the last second of that fucking movie. So it makes things a little too anticipatory for me.
Right.
Like, I know that I've seen this trailer a million times. I know there is a scene in this movie. We're hitting the 2 hour mark. I haven't seen that scene in this movie yet. So I start to put together how the movie's going to go. Based on knowing that I've seen that scene.
Right.
They show that scene in the trailer for Solo where he's like, I'm putting a team together. That's like the last fucking thing in the movie.
Yeah. But I would rather them hold off the goods to the last moment.
Hold on, another thing on that. So I'm watching, like, okay, here's Solo. Boom, 3 years later, he's in the war. He meets these guys. I'm waiting for another cut 3 years later.
Right.
Woody Harrelson's like, I'm putting a team together.
Right.
But it doesn't happen. Because that's some bullshit thing that they threw in at the end that they put into the trailer to make it look like it's kind of like a plot point.
And there are times in trailers when you'll see the way they cut it, they'll put something in there that's not in the movie.
If you watch the Avengers trailer, they've got Hulk running with the other group in Wakanda.
And he's never in the
He's never Hulk in that movie. You saw Avengers, right?
Yes. He's never Hulk in the movie.
He's never Hulk in the movie, so
except
bullshit!
for the very opening scene.
Right.
When Thanos beats his
shit
ass.
out. Yeah. But they put him into that fucking scene in the trailer.
So...
You saw Deadpool 2, right?
I haven't seen that yet.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Perfect movie.
That's what I saw your comments. It's a perfect movie.
Perfect movie.
Which
now, I'm not
now.
saying, like, it's the greatest movie ever made. It's better than every movie ever made.
No, but...
Deadpool 2 is the perfect Deadpool 2, Deadpool sequel movie. I don't know how they can do a 3 to make it better than 2, because 2 was fucking perfect for a Deadpool movie.
Which is unusual for a sequel to be as good or better than the original.
It
never happens.
Like, if you were to take a gun and you were to shoot at a target, you can only hit that center once. You can't do better than that center. You can hit that center again,
the same hole,
but it'll never be any better than that perfect shot.
Right.
And that's what Deadpool 2 was. So the only way that they could make a Deadpool 3 is just as good or less than.
And I think, I don't know, I think I haven't seen Deadpool 2, but I think that if there's going to be another one, if there's a 3, it's not going to be 3, it's going to be a team up.
I'm just waiting for the Avengers and Wolverine and Deadpool and everyone to be in the same movie now that they're all owned by Disney.
You never know.
The only thing Disney doesn't own is Spider-Man. They got everything else. Anyways, Solo. We're not done with Solo.
Yeah, we got to keep going there.
So that you can get out of here and go home. You got to work tomorrow?
I do have to work tomorrow. So, yeah, I mean, all the little tip of the hat stuff, because you notice, anybody who's original 456 fan, you get every little thing that they do, and things that they say. And
did you like that guy as Han Solo?
I did. I thought he was a good pick for the part. I mean, I think he's a little chunkier, I think, than Harrison Ford was in the early days.
Right, a thin Harrison Ford. But I think that's just that dude's facial structure.
It is. He's got a wider
face.
It's kind of funny. I didn't want to say this, but he kind of reminds me of, like, Robert's facial.
Oh, Robert Grant?
Pattinson. Yeah.
Oh, Robert
Grant, no.
I mean, why would you say Robert without saying a full name?
Because you know Robert. You and I both know Robert.
Robert Grant.
Robert Grant.
So you are talking about Robert
Yes,
Grant.
I am.
Oh, okay.
No, I think that he has, like, that facial structure except for the butt chin, I think.
So you think Robert should have played fucking Han Solo?
I think he could have.
He's too old now, because isn't this guy...
He's pretty young.
Well, because Han Solo... Like, they say the Han Solo is a certain age in New Hope, which I think is way too young, because Harrison Ford is, like, in his 40s in that fucking movie.
No.
He's got to be in his 40s in that fucking movie.
No way. Harrison Ford was way young in the original Star Wars.
No, dude, he looks
Maybe
like a
30.
40-year-old man.
Maybe 30.
A 40-year-old man.
Maybe 30. Chewie is 100 and what?
90 in this movie.
Exactly.
And they call him, I think, like 2-something in New Hope.
Right.
Because I had to look this shit up when I was fucking putting fucking numbers together in my head. Okay, so Harrison Ford was born in 1942. Star Wars came out in 77. So that's what? 28? 20...
Maybe 30.
God, but he looks like an old man in that movie.
Go back and watch it again.
I guess I'm going to have to.
The original 4. Because it's hard to see past what you've seen recently. You know Harrison Ford.
Mature adult Harrison Ford.
Exactly. But when you go back and watch his original stuff, you're like, wow, he was really young back then.
Maybe he's just always kind of looked old, because I've seen him in...
He has an older face.
Like American Graffiti.
Strong facial
But people looked older back then.
Absolutely.
But, like, Mark Hamill fucking looked like a fucking kid. Like, he looked like he just came out of the vagina.
Yeah, he did.
So...
You know, and a funny story, I guess, connection between, like, Han Solo and Luke Skywalker. They felt like the stories were, like, linear together.
In
like
New Hope?
And yeah, if you take New Hope and Solo, and you kind of put them side by side and watch that character growth,
You see that
you see the similarities between those two characters where...
Well, clear, like, we know that fucking
Solo's...
Han Solo's gotta get fucking hardened, because he's a hardened motherfucker.
Yeah.
Oh, and he shoots fucking Woody Harrelson first.
and I love that line, because he's the other thing I gotta tell you, kid.
It's the most important thing.
It's the most important thing.
And then
always, and he gets shot.
Oh, you think he was gonna say,
he would say always shoot first?
Right.
It's the only thing that makes sense, because then he shot him first. And Han Solo thing for the rest of eternity is Han Solo shot first. Right? So that's his rule, is his steadfast rule. And it shows that, you know, he leads with his heart, and when he makes decisions.
But he's got that shell.
But he does.
He's got
He's got this hard ass
shell. I
shell.
loved once. I'm not gonna do it again.
Exactly.
But he fucking lets it out.
Exactly. And I don't know.
Like Woody Harrelson has for Han Solo in this movie, Harrison Ford has for Luke Skywalker
in the future.
Right. Because he's always calling him kid.
Right.
And everything else like that. He's
trying to
got
give
a lot
advice.
of
He's trying to, like, hey, don't be a fucking dumbass.
Right.
So, but it kind of, like, it shows that he came from, like, this poor, like, sub-poor upbringing, and it really is about the score.
So
it's
you
about
missed that first beginning.
I missed the very, very first fucking 10, 15 minutes.
One of the funniest lines is right in the beginning of that movie, too.
What is it?
So Han Solo, he escapes from these people, like that same coaxium.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he was supposed to sell that to a group of people because, like, I guess they have different factions that's all written in title cards at the beginning. There are different factions that kind of protect these runaway kids and use them to go and rob and steal and bring back the loot. Time to go?
No.
To bring back the loot to their, their hive mother or whatever.
Right.
And so Han was supposed to take the coaxium and sell it and get the money, and he comes back and he doesn't have any of it. But he kept
the coaxium or the money.
Right, but he kept the one that they used to get through. But there's like this alien creature thing underground, and they're gonna fucking kill him because it's like, hey, I don't got anything, but fuck those guys, right?
Yeah.
And they're about to kill him, and he fucking goes, and he pulls out like a rock. Like, and everyone's like, oh my god, because he's like, this is a thermal detonator, and then he goes, right? And then the mother alien thing that came out of the water, she's like, that's just a rock, and you made that clicking noise with your mouth.
It's just a rock.
It's just a rock, because he's like, oh, and then it's just hilarious, because she's like, no, you're fucking bullshitting me.
Right.
But he throws it through the window, because I guess the sun kills him, and she just dives back underneath the water, and then the chase ensues. But it's so funny, where it's like, this is a thermal detonator! I've just armed it! It's good stuff.
But I think it does a good job of explaining who Han Solo is and why he becomes this, cheeky swindler.
They still don't have the Lando Han relationship that is hinted at when they first hook up in Empire.
Right.
Because they're like, oh, hey!
But if you look at how...
So I think there's
You
room
look
for
at how-
them to get closer in a second movie.
Maybe. Like, maybe they team up again and they do a job or whatever, and then maybe
They bang.
that... They bang, she bangs, she bang.
She bangs,
But
she
at the
bangs.
same... Okay. William.
Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. She bangs, she bangs.
But if you look at how Lando and Han leave off when they're on the planet, and Lando's like, basically like, fuck you, I want my money, and then I don't ever want to fucking see you again, so fuck you. Like, that's basically what Lando says. He's
So it's
"I'm
like
so done."
bullshit when they meet in Empire then.
And then when they meet up on that other planet, when
The-
Han comes with the jewel to deal,
Right.
and he wants to play Lando straight up for the ship, or buy it, or whatever he wants to try to do, because he obviously
They
is falling in
probably
love.
go back and forth until he gets fucking elected mayor of Cloud City or whatever he is. They probably have a long back and like, if they make a second one. But like, I
Yeah.
can see them having a long back and forth with the Millennium Falcon before he gets like elected to public office or whatever it is that he's doing
Right.
in Cloud City. And then he just lets it go because at that point he probably doesn't need it anymore because
Right.
he's
running
made
the
in the shit.
planet, basically.
Yeah.
But I could see, I wouldn't like it, but I could see where they leave it alone. I could see where they leave it alone.
Mhm.
Because when they meet back up on the
I
planet
can't
right
see
before the
where
card
they go
game,
alone.
they meet up like, "Huh, no, buddy," you know, like, "Oh, fucking good to see you, made it," you know,
Right,
like,
right.
"I left you for dead, but you made it." It's like, "Oh, fucking Chewie," like, and Chewie,
his
he already
arms
has,
off.
a good reason to be glad to see Chewie, because Chewie fucking saved his life.
Mhm.
Chewie went out there and grabbed him and J3, and they fucking hauled ass,
Another fucking sassy fucking robot like in Rogue One.
which I thought was pretty funny. I thought that was I think that's a good character type for a robot.
In every movie, there's a sassy robot.
I don't know, like they have to have like that one sticky, sassy robot character.
K2
And it used
was
to
a
be-
lot better though.
K2 was.
I thought K2 was.
It was
he
just
was a
more
dick.
deadpan and punchy. It was like, just like really in your face, like, yeah, no, fuck you. Like if he could have talked that way in that movie, he probably would have said fuck you.
Absolutely.
You know, but it started out early on with the original Star Wars movies where 3PO was.
3PO wasn't sassy. He was a pussy.
He was, but he was subservient. But it was him and R2 that were sassy back and forth, and you could only
Well,
really catch.
K2 and L3 or whatever, they're Americans. C-3PO is a British.
Exactly. The Brits are too kind. Too many manners.
All right. Well, should we get you out of here, Corey?
Yeah, I think we better call it. But I think Last Notes,
Final
think
Notes.
awesome movie. I think great with the watch.
I thought it was okay. I didn't fall in love with it like I did Rogue One. It's good, worth a watch, absolutely. But it didn't hit my personal opinion with Rogue One.
I think Rogue One was different because there was
Rogue One
almost
was
no
gestating for a long time. I think this
Yeah.
movie was pitched
and
like decades ago,
yeah,
and they didn't want to do it. But now that Disney wants to do a million movies,
right.
they're like, oh, didn't someone have this
Expanded universe
idea?
stuff,
Right.
keep
So
going.
so
So like Solo is kind of like, hey, you know, remember
might as
the
well
Solo movie?
just like the Boba Fett one's
Hey-o.
probably gonna be.
Do you make a Boba Fett movie?
They're gonna make a Boba Fett movie. I think it's the next one. I think they're gonna do a.
Kind of didn't we already get that though?
No. This is Boba Fett as the hero. I think he comes out of the Sarlacc. I think if they were gonna do it, he comes out of the Sarlacc, and it'll be like post Jedi.
Interesting.
In the books, he comes out of the Sarlacc,
Okay.
and then I think there's gonna be a Ben Kenobi movie as well.
I've seen a trailer for Kenobi, and I don't know if it's real or not. I can't tell.
Not real.
Looks good though. I mean, I could go
The
with
trailer
it.
looks good.
I could go with it. Look up Kenobi.
And look,
as a
if they
trailer.
do a Kenobi movie, like they have to have Solo in it, but those two never meet. Like if you watch X-Men Origins, the Wolverine one, Cyclops is in that movie, but Wolverine and Cyclops never ever are on any scenes together.
Right.
So like because Kenobi knows about Han Solo, right? Or does he just randomly find him?
No, he says one of the best smugglers in the galaxy. That's what he says.
Right, but
Because he knows-
Han doesn't know him though. Han doesn't know.
Yeah, Han doesn't know
Obi-Wan.
Obi-Wan.
So if they
But
do
Obi-Wan
one,
knows
Obi-Wan has
of-
to be like watching, and maybe he even helps out Solo when like Jabba's gonna
yeah.
kill him a couple times, and maybe he's able to fucking sneak. Because maybe I need this guy sometime in the future.
I mean, powerful
Disney,
powerful force
you got my
users,
number. I
they-
can write this thing.
They can see into the future.
And Jared Leto,
Mathew loves you.
call me because I'm ready to write your Joker movie,
The real one.
the real one. All right. Anyways, Corey, it's
Okay.
been good. Good to have you back in the hot seat again.
We have to do it more frequently.
Everyone go
We
out
should
to
maybe
Vegas.
make a thing to where we go to the movies like once a month.
We should.
Like see something and then come back and pod on it.
We should.
And we should do that because I like the freshness.
Absolutely. All right.
All right,
I'm Matt Bonta.
Cory Easley.